The rumors continue to swirl, and there may be potentially, possibly, it could happen, it may happen, it may not happen, a Yoshinobu Yamamoto sighting in Philadelphia. Welcome to PHLY Phillies podcast. I'm Renee, Washington, joined by my dear friends, colleagues who are always doing a great job with me, weighing in on the Phillies. Jamie Lynch, Tyler Zulli. We're having fun because every day it's a different rumor. And today the rumor and the speculation is around Yamamoto. We've talked about Josh Hader, Blake Snell. We've talked about Aaron Nola, which we will also get into today. We will also have our friend from across the pond, Dave Shaw of UK Phillies, on the show as well as we talk about the London series later today. But plenty to unpack this morning. Welcome into the show. Join the conversation. Join us in the chat. Hit that like button. Give your good mornings and your happy Wednesdays. Jamie, we have talked about Yamamoto, the 25-year-old has been one of the, as we looked across all of the free agents, of course, the top three prospects that we've talked about. And now we've heard reports coming out that as of this moment, because it might change in the next hour or day or so, according to Jim Salisbury and what he said in an interview, the Phillies do not have much, although they don't have much history signing Japanese players, they do have legit interest in having a serious plan put together to bring in the right-hander, Japanese sensation, Yamamoto. What were your initial thoughts about this when you heard Jim break the news in an interview with WIP?
Well, I saw him at a Wawa on the Black Horse Pike getting a pork roll sizzly, so he's basically already a Philly. I'm just going to confirm that right now. He's already one of us. Maybe he'll be at the Knicks in Reading Terminal in a little bit, getting a roast pork broccoli Rob. No, just kidding. Obviously, just kidding. He's not a pork roll.
Oh my gosh, whoa!
He's not a pork
happening?
Roll, egg and cheese guy. He's a traditional bacon, egg and cheese sizzly guy.
Gosh,
so,
I love a good pork roll, though.
Yeah, well, pork roll's the best. But yeah, the rumor. And look, it's Jim Salisbury, so there's not a more trusted guy to hear it from. You know, him and Jason Stark kind of are the local baseball guys that, without a doubt, if they say something, they have it on good information. The fact that he said they have real interest in him is really exciting. You know, Dave Dombrowski and his front office staff are one of 10 teams this year that went over, scouted him. I'm sure they had scouts at the World Baseball Classic because when you have those guys playing in your backyard, you better be scouting.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a guy that's been on their radar for a long time. Zach Berman and Bo Wolf are down the hall recording the Eagles podcast with Fletcher Cox today. And as Zach was walking into the studio, he goes, I want Yamamoto. I'm in. And as he said, I don't know if you were here or not, he said on the way in to the studio, which is the
I was sitting right next to you.
I didn't know if you were in or not. You came in like 3 minutes.
I was literally sitting there.
But Zach's point was a great one, and it's part of why he's so exciting. He said you can't get any free agent pitchers like this at age 25 years old. So the fact that he's so young really makes him incredibly exciting because if he is what a lot of sharp baseball people think he is, you're getting his prime years. And that could be, the price is not going to be cheap, but you could be looking at 8 or 9 years of Yamamoto, being the front end of your rotation type of guy. So it's really exciting to think about.
It is. And I know we talked on the show when we were, deep diving into Yamamoto. And of course, the price that Yamamoto is projected to be picked up at is very high. And there was always a question of risk reward. And especially at 25 years old, and not having seen him enough from our perspective, because we're not the ones scouting him, it was some question mark of, are you willing to take that gamble and trust that Yamamoto can come and be a top starting pitcher? But obviously, every team around the league has been actively talking about ways to bring in Yamamoto. Outside of Shohei Otani, Yamamoto has been one of the highest prospects, rightfully so. And so when you talk about the fact that the Phillies have had chances to scout him, they did go and have an opportunity to watch Yamamoto pitch. That was reported back a while ago that John Heyman of the New York Post first reported in August. The Phillies were among 10 teams at that time that were scouting Yamamoto and were able to go out and watch him. And Dave Dombrowski and team has been actively, pursuing him, and rightfully so. I know we have been back and forth about it, but this is exciting to think about. It's a lot because we just don't know, and I know each of us have talked about it. Tyler has talked about it. Like, we just haven't seen Yamamoto enough, but for Dave Dombrowski and for the Phillies and for the scouting side, they had taken a chance to look at him. Obviously, at the World Baseball Classic, we saw him really burst onto the scene in a huge way internationally, but also has been such a big pitcher in the Pacific League in Japan across 23 starts, 164 innings. The numbers that Yamamoto has posted are phenomenal. So as we welcome you all into the chat, let's take a quick look at some of those numbers that Yamamoto has been pitching, because
he's good.
He's very good. And at 25 years old, remarkable. 17-6 record, a 1.17 ERA, 176 strikeouts, an under one, an 860 whip, guys.
That's
mid-90s fastball.
That's sicko shit. That's filthy.
Splitter is his best pitch. Now, he's also the back-to-back Pacific League MVP, which the awards he's racked up are equivalent to like the Cy Young Award. And he also, his posting fee is approximately $25 million. So Yamamoto brings the heat. He knows how to pack it. And at 25 years old, like Zach was saying, like we're saying, you do rarely find those types of talents available. A high price tag, but worth the investment.
Yeah, so this
Possibly.
is a quote from a National League pro scouting director who made multiple trips to Japan. He was quoted anonymously to Baseball America. He said, he's got so many weapons. His pitchability is so good. The guy has power, feel, aptitude, deception. He makes it work. He's going to be a number 2 or number 3 starter. Now, if you're pushing all in to make this guy your number 1, I think that's a ballsy decision. For lack of a better word. But if you're pushing him to be your number 2, that's a really good situation to be in. He's the first ever in the Japanese Baseball League to throw no-hitters in back-to-back seasons. He throws in the mid-90s. He has an arsenal of pitches. He's really exciting. And the World Baseball Classic, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, was the kind of the first and only time I've seen him pitch. Tyler's seen him pitch. You've seen him pitch.
Tyler.
It's a small sample size, but he fared pretty well against major league hitters. And that's the stat line here, if I can read my own notes. In 2 starts, I'm trying to read the innings here. This is so small in my eye. 7 1/3 innings. He had a 2.45 ERA, picked up the 1 win, struck out only 2, struck out 12. Earned runs was 2. Whip below 1, held opponents to a 160 batting average. Now, very small sample size, but one of the things you look with unknowns, and it could be a prospect coming up, Johan Rojas, whoever you're talking about, do they look overmatched? Do they look like they belong? You're not looking for a guy to come in day 1 and look like he's the MVP of the league. Although if you're special, you can do that. But you just look like you belong, and in a very small sample size in the World Baseball Classic, he looked like he belonged, and he looked like why, not only the Phillies, but other teams are excited at the possibility of him. Yeah.
Well, welcoming guys in the chat. I just want to give a shout out to those of you that are joining us. I see John in there. Nick, hello. Nice to have you here, Nick Shawland. I don't know that I've seen you as much on here as live with us, at least. Nice to have you,
Nick. Nick.
Eugene Krabs, if you were an outfielder, you would always catch me. Why, thank you. That's helpful. Dave, thanks for having my back, too, Dave. You've got my back like Draymond Green's
Did you
got
just
Klay
call her a
Thompson's
can
back.
of corn, Mr. Krabs?
Yeah, Dave's got my back like Draymond. He's just put Eugene in a chokehold.
Dude, somebody, and there's only a select few guys in the NBA. Somebody needs to square Draymond up and fight that man at center court, and the refs just need to box people out and let them go. Just let Draymond fight somebody.
I'm so sick of him Draymonding around the league.
But if Draymond was your teammate, you'd love that dude.
No.
I just, Marcus Morris from the Sixers, you might be one of the few guys in the league that could actually
put him in there, let him go.
So, the refs and the players, somebody's got to take them on one-on-one. I really need to see it happen.
Just coming over.
Rudy Gobert, man.
I know.
Karl Anthony Towns teams are always getting choked out.
It is always Rudy and Karl. But yes, we did not technically, we did kind of technically compare to Rudy. But anyways, let's get back to things. I know I've got some early song requests in the chat. I might not sing today, guys. You know, supply and demand. I can't sing every day.
Not on Yamamoto Day. Not on Yamamoto Day.
Okay. Dad has spoken.
Not on Yamamoto Day.
All right. I guess I'm not singing. I was not going to sing today anyways.
If you have a Yamamoto song, that could ruin everything. It could turn off the
You
hot
want me to
stuff.
put on a Yamamoto song today?
You got one? That's what
I could come up with one. Just give me a beat. Give me a song and I'll make a beat. All right. So updates from Jim as Jim is speaking, and supply and demand. Can't give you guys songs every day. You got to tune back in because you never know when we're going to be singing on here. We are going to be singing.
No, never.
We. All right, so Jim Salisbury was saying some different things in the interview around Yamamoto, just some updates for you. So he did say, and I quote, "You see him loosely connected to the Phillies. You more see him connected to the usual suspects like the two New Yorks and the Yankees and the Mets, the Dodgers. But to me, the Phillies are a big market team with a very aggressive owner, a very aggressive front office, and an intent and huge will to win and a will to spend money." Of course, Yamamoto's name has been tossed out and in the conversation with a lot of teams. And then also, as we've talked about, the history of Japanese players in Major League Baseball, not as high. Obviously, there's been some, Otani looking at you, that have come in and really taken the league by the reins. But the other point of it that I like what Jim is saying is, why not start one? You know, there's not a lot of history with Japanese players. Why not start one now? It's not a knock on whether or not they can play in this league. Take a chance, see what he can do. And he's saying, you know, at 25 years old, you haven't really, other than I guess Ranger Suarez, developed a young starting pitcher. This is all Jim's words, not mine. We're still waiting for Mick Abel and Griff McGarry to throw strikes. Andrew Painter is going to be down for a year. This guy's 25 years old. One of the big attractions to Bryce Harper a few years ago was he's a 26-year-old free agent. Well, this guy's younger. So he's making some great points. When you think about it, it is very rare. And to be able to have a guy like Yamamoto available in free agency, as much as we like talking about the Mr. Durable Aaron Nola or Sonny Gray as a veteran plug and play, there's also a lot of enticing aspects around a young pitcher like Yamamoto, who already is throwing fastballs and has the numbers that is showing us that he can be a great starting pitcher, especially as a number 2 to Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, and the Painter point I think is a good one too, because if I do think a Zach Wheeler extension is very much on the priority list for the Phillies this year. Then you can kind of ease Painter in if Yamamoto ends up being the real deal, where you have Wheeler, Yamamoto, and then you still have a durable Ranger there, potentially as a 3 or 4. If Ranger Suarez ends up becoming your 4 and Painter becomes the real deal in 2 years, then you're going to see the back end of Zach Wheeler. And then if Yamamoto really does have special stuff, could inch his way towards your 1, and then maybe Painter can inch up into your 2 or 3. So his age, I think, is a huge factor in this in terms of the 5-year plan for the Phillies. Not only immediately, but I think it takes some pressure off Andrew Painter, where, you know, he doesn't have to come in and be the guy. He has somebody to grow with and alongside. You know, Cody Senga ended up being a National League Rookie of the Year finalist who came over from Japan a year ago, and he wasn't nearly as good as Yamamoto is. So, you know, that's a recent trend from just a year ago, where you look at it and you go, all right, well, Cody Senga was a little bit older, again, to the point of being 25. It's a rare thing. So, you know, I've been talking about Yamamoto all year a little bit to like friends and stuff. And then, you know, part of me got scared and I was like, well, Aaron Nola's safe and Yamamoto's money. I'm back to not giving a damn about John Middleton's money. Go throw the $200 million at this kid. And, you know, it could fix the long-term starting rotation problem if he pans out in a spectacular fashion.
It would be phenomenal. I'm getting some song requests, and honestly, Jamie, I'm getting the itch. It's hard to turn these requests down for a remix of the Phillies song, a SpongeBob theme song, and as Eugene Krabs is saying that, I'm not gonna lie, in my
Don't encourage her, guys.
In my head, I just came up with some pretty great lyrics for Yamamoto to the SpongeBob theme song, but I'm not gonna do it. Let me sleep on it. I'm gonna fight the urge.
It's a lot of hot stove to get to.
Yeah, and I don't wanna do too much and sing you guys every day. You know, it's otherwise
you're not ready to freestyle.
You're just getting free songs. You're getting free concerts. You know, this isn't
go into the lab a little bit.
Go into the Game Time app and be able to purchase some tickets to buy a chance to see me in concert. I'm not giving you free shows, and that was not a segue into the Game Time app. We're not there yet, but I will say one thing that also was really neat. if Yamamoto did sign with the Phillies, aside from all of the phenomenal baseball pitching prowess he would bring, he also would become just the third Japanese-born player to ever play for the Phillies.
Yeah.
The previous two, do you know them?
So Taguchi and
Tadahito Iguchi.
Yeah. Wait. So Taguchi and Tadahito Iguchi. Yes.
Yeah.
And they were both MLB players before the Phillies got them, so they've never gone
right.
direct
This would be a first
to Japan.
where you would absolutely have a Japanese-born player that hasn't played in the league yet, and his first stop in Major League Baseball would be with the Phillies. So some exciting opportunities. I'm always about being able to break glass ceilings and mix it up, especially when it comes to diversity and bringing in somebody that's talented, regardless where they're from, regardless where they've played. If he's got the numbers to show this, to back it up, why not? So I know we've talked, there's been a lot of high risk reward. All of us have been very actively on the Aaron Nola as the top prospect that we would love for the Phillies to be able to sign again, but that's not looking practical. So as we're looking at other names, we've talked about Corbin Burns, which is where my Let It Burn song came from. Yamamoto, we've talked about Blake Snell. There's other names in the mix. So exciting that the Phillies have not Tamagotchi. I didn't say Tamagotchi.
Like the pet? My sister
I used to have one of those.
Yeah.
But it is great that the Phillies, what I like about this, have been so active in all these conversations that we're hearing them pursuing the best free agents possible, the best pitchers possible out there. So
yeah, and there was somebody else, I forget who we were talking about
heaven.
that the Snell interest might be waning some. Was that a Stark report?
Yeah, there have been
because we were discussing.
There
it
have
before
been
the
some
show.
other updates around the league. Jason Stark, who, as we talked about, always does a great job with
him and Salisbury,
Major League Baseball coverage. So Jason Stark, in a recent piece, and this actually I saw this today, said the Phillies are now lukewarm on Blake Snell.
Yeah,
however, if Nola leaves and Yamamoto goes to a team with a richer history with Japanese players, Snell could still be in play. And then also said the Phillies are not in the Josh Hader market. So for MBD or anybody else, anti-Josh Hader, here's some possible news that the Phillies are not in the Josh Hader market. And lukewarm is not great. I don't like lukewarm. So just shows where the Phillies are on Blake Snell right now, that he'd be kind of that backup option if things fall through.
The fact that Jim and
Yamamoto.
Jason kind of are approaching this from different angles, I think Jason, without saying it, is saying that Snell is their third option of these top three. I think when Jim comes out and says what he says on WIP yesterday, I think it's not clear, but me reading through the tea leaves of the reports, I would say their top prospect is probably Yamamoto, Nola being second. But then you get into that discomfort of giving Nola $200 million. But I wouldn't say Hader's out of it, but I would think if you can't get a Yamamoto or, one of these $200 million pitchers, if you're getting a Sonny Gray, do you want to counterbalance your spending by grabbing a Hader or something? But I think from what those two are telling you, Hader's probably fourth or fifth on that list. I would say probably Yamamoto, Nola, Snell, Sonny Gray, Eduardo Rodriguez, Hader. It's early, and the winter meetings are when this stuff's gonna, pick up, and maybe some actual signings will start to happen. But the fact that Jason Stark says lukewarm on Blake Snell, it's interesting. There was a lot going on yesterday, so I think that's just my guess on the situation. But my guess is that Yamamoto is now their number one option because Aaron Nola is 29 years old. And that's why at being 25 years old, most pitchers that hit the market, are these Jordan Montgomerys, Blake Snells, Aaron Nolas. All these guys are 29 years old. Sonny Gray's 34 years old. So if you value a player's prime and his youth, then would you rather spend $200 million on Yamamoto or would you rather spend $200 million on Aaron Nola? I think if you decide that they're both quality pitchers, you're going to pay for the youth.
Yeah.
So that might be the thing that really separates them from the rest of the pack. And it might be something that makes John Middleton say, screw it, give him $230 million. I don't care, because you're going to be up against the Yankees, the Mets, probably the Dodgers, the Rangers, all these, maybe the Red Sox. I know they said no to Otani, but they didn't say no to Yamamoto. So these big market, big money clubs are all going to be in the hunt here, and we'll see who's got a breaking point of what, but it's going to be interesting. We're all Yamamoto'd up, and we'll be following this one closely.
Well, the thing that we do know is we're going to see some guys in some different uniforms and jerseys, and that means you'll have to go out and buy some new uniforms to rock around the ballpark, and you can do that at FOCO. So as you're going to have some new favorites that are on the Phillies, you're going to need a place to go buy some merch, and that's FOCO. So head over to FOCO, use that code PHLY, get 10% off of your purchase. And again, that is PHLY for those that are listening on YouTube and watching along live. It's right there on your screen for you. For those of you that are listening across our podcast platforms that we always appreciate tuning in after the show, PHLY gets 10% off. Bobbleheads, collectibles, toys, shirts, hoodies, hats, slippers, you name it, they've got it at FOCO, so you can make sure whichever free agent or whichever big name players get signed with the Phillies, you'll be able to have some great merch to rock. So as we're talking through the updates around Major League Baseball, specifically with starting pitchers, the New York Yankees have been actively pursuing.
Bastards.
According to John Morosi, Morosi did say that the Yankees are among the most engaged teams in the pursuit of free agent starters, expressing interest in both ace Yoshinobu Yamamoto and, of course, the seasoned Mr. Durable, Aaron Nola. So this is where it comes into play of what is your list. As we've talked about, there is, without a doubt, it seems like the front runners, Aaron Nola, which is not likely, Yamamoto, and then Snell, Josh Hader. I know we talked MBDBF up because now you're in the chat. Now we started talking about Josh Hader not being someone that
Google alert went off.
Yeah, it was like, ding, your ears are itching. Josh Hader's lower on that list according to this. But, of course, it's because of the fact that other teams like the Yankees are so actively looking to pursue Yamamoto, Nola, that it's, the Phillies, like everybody else, have their list. But those Yankees.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to be finally in that upper class with the Yankees. I'll say that.
That's a good way to look at it. I like that.
The fact that you're competing with these clubs is a real credit to John Middleton and the ownership group, because majority of my life you weren't in those conversations. So the fact that you're in a hunt for a kid like this is really exciting. It makes a lot of sense that the Yankees want to pair Garrett Cole with one of these top end type of guys. They've kind of had a downturn, the Red Sox and Yankees not mattering. I'm sure Major League Baseball wants them to matter again. So you're in there and you're fighting out with these big clubs, and, that's exciting. And the San Diego Padres look like they're not, they tried to play at the fighting weight of these upper echelon money teams, and it looks like they done screwed up. They had to borrow $50 million in August. Just to make payroll and stuff, and Jeff Passan yesterday. So I bring that up. That's one less club you have to worry about. In the past, they were spending money on some of these guys like crazy, and now it's catching up with them. So they've dropped out. So you're basically looking at the Rangers, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Phillies as and maybe the Cubs as your big money spenders. And the Padres are going to have to sell off Juan Soto. And if I'm the Yankees, Giancarlo Stanton can't stay healthy. They need outfield help. Aaron Judge has health concerns. Do you go and make that big splash for a Juan Soto? They typically have a great farm system. So if they get Juan Soto, because Jeff Passan says the only way out of this for the Padres is to get rid of Soto, maybe that eliminates them from the Yamamoto thing. So the hot stove is really going to start cooking in beginning of December. But there's a ton of rumors flying around right now. I think there's going to be a lot of change in the league this year. There's some more guys we're going to get to here. I know Tyler's all excited about one of the pitchers available. So I think this is, I don't want to say a new era of Major League Baseball, but it feels to me like it's starting a lot earlier this year. It's a little bit more of a frenzy on the rumor mill. And I think the winter meetings are going to be pretty active in terms of signings and trades and whatnot. So, and the Phillies, we actually have to mention, made a trade yesterday.
They did. But before we even get to that, as you mentioned, Brian Cashman and the Yankees have been actively talking about pursuing multiple outfielders this winter.
So Juan Soto makes a ton of sense for them.
Yeah, as well as looking to bring in, if they can, someone like Yamamoto. So I know in the chat you guys were saying those stinking Yankees as well, because they're irritating. But as you talk about, there is a lot of other news. So we can't stay too long on Yamamoto because we've got plenty of other. It is very exciting because every day we've been hearing more and more of, rumors and names getting tossed in the hat. And it's allowed us to have a chance to kind of process what that would look like for the Phillies. And for
Jim
25-year-old
Jason Stark,
Yamamoto with the Phillies is exciting. We've all talked about the high risk but also high reward possibly, because there are maybe question marks, especially for us, since we haven't had as much scouting opportunity. But that's why that's not our jobs.
Yeah.
All right. So as we talk about, there is some other news around the league before we get to the Phillies news specifically. Shohei Otani has been consistently one of the bigger names, without a doubt, because he's the top prospect. And according to ESPN's Alden Gonzalez, Otani has made it known that he's open to a short-term deal with a high average annual value. So I know it's been a lot of conversation about the amount of money and the high deal that Otani is looking for. Well, now, especially I'm assuming with him wanting to go to a place where he can win right away, Otani has also made it known that he is open to a short-term deal with a high AAV. So that changes some things for some teams that now can possibly afford to bring in Otani.
I know he's not pitching for one of those years, but if John Middleton threw down something like 2 years and $100 million, build that man a statue. Because the only way, I know our buddy Vince was in the chat yesterday saying, maybe you can bring back Reese because you do kind of need that right-handed power bat. But whatever. If he mentioned Kyle Schwarber playing left field, the only situation in which I'm okay watching Kyle Schwarber play the field again is if Shohei Otani is your DH. Like, if that's true and he's looking for that 1 or 2 year, like, crazy money deal, first of all, there's no bad 1 year deals in baseball. That's something I believe in my core. And two, if you were, or let's say it's a 3 year deal for $125 million or something like that, screw it. Dave P saying 4 for $350, 2 for $100, not near enough. I mean, probably not, but $50 million a year to be a DH sounds like pretty good coin to me. But yeah, who knows? But the fact that that's out there now, and the thing came out the other day about the Braves and this and that. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants a piece of this kid. It seems like he wants to go to a team that's going to compete. It seems like he had enough of his time in Anaheim where he was like, all right, this is stupid. I'm baseball Jesus. I'm the reincarnation of Babe Ruth or whatever you want to call me. Get me to a team where I can win. So if teams that can win can throw you $150 million for, I don't know, 3 years, $200 million for 3 years, whatever the hell it costs, it's probably not a bad deal, which is wild to think about because Otani would hit, I don't know, 85 bombs in Citizens Bank Park. And then he could possibly pitch the second year. You want to talk about return on your investment. Bryce Harper may have been nothing. If you're John Middleton and the board looking at the finances of it, part of Bryce Harper was, he's going to bring in a lot of attendance. He's going to bring in a lot of merchandising. That was just domestic. What Shohei Otani could bring to a major market club in return on an international, Phillies gear, you're going to get a certain amount of that money back right off the bat. So screw it, John Middleton. Go give that man 3 years, $200 million. Get nuts. Let's get weird. I'm all for it. Screw it. The fact that that's out there now is also really exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. And we are also going international today. Later on in the show, we will have Dave Shaw from UK Phillies joining us. So we're going international here on PHLY Phillies podcast. But as you mentioned, the current AAV record in baseball is $43.3 million. Is
that Scherzer or is that?
I don't remember.
Verlander or Scherzer, I think, has it.
But Otani would most likely pass that. So it is exciting when you think about it. I know there's some mixed reviews in the chat. Some people saying
for 3.
that Otani fits everywhere. People are saying, no, it's not worth it, especially since he can't pitch in this upcoming season. But as you mentioned, there are other benefits. Like Dave is saying, like you're saying, you're selling out Citizens Bank Park instantly, and not even just home games. Away games are probably going to have a boost in ticket sales too, because the idea of Otani with the Phillies makes for some great baseball, even as a DH. So
it's not fantasy baseball talk, Dave. I mean, there's only a handful of teams that can afford to pay a Shohei Otani. Luckily for us as Phillies fans, they are in theory one of them,
and a team that he can step into and win. He wants to go to a club where he's able to have a chance at winning a World Series. And what better team
Do I think
than
it's going to happen?
the Phillies?
No, I don't. But the fact that it's a short-term thing, like I didn't think John Middleton wanted to pay $1 billion to 3 players in Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and Shohei Otani. But now, if it's potentially that short, high end, that changes things.
It does.
It's not fantasy baseball talk. I mean, it's potentially an athlete the sport has never seen before.
Yeah, he's superhuman.
He might be worth every penny.
Yeah, and just as great as a DH. I mean, obviously, you'd love to have him on the mound, but
that swing is so smooth.
I mean,
he would just crush. That would be a lot of fun. A couple weeks ago, I was like, don't even talk about it. It's not because I was thinking, 9 and 10-year deal for $550 million, $600 million, whatever the hell it is he's going to get. Now, if it's short term, it changes everything.
Yeah, we've talked about Kyle Schwarber as leadoff or possibly moving down in the batting order. Imagine having
it's the only way I'd let him play the field.
Otani in that. Oh, my goodness. All right, so there have been other changes as well because the Phillies aren't done. They're just getting started. And so the news broke that after having a good showing at the Arizona Fall League, Oliver Dunn, who we talked about on the show in our Tuesday edition, was Breakout Player of the Year. He finished with a slash line of 342, 455, 616 with 2 homers and 11 RBIs in 19 games. And then, as we talked about him yesterday, then we're talking about him more today because Dunn was included in a trade. The Phillies did acquire 2 players from the Tampa Bay Rays in separate transactions previously, and now they've gone on to actively make a trade with the Brewers. So more trades happening. And the news broke shortly after our show yesterday, which is wild. There's a lot of news that breaks right after our show, that the Phillies have sent Dunn to the Brewers for outfielder Hendry Mendez and infielder Robert Moore. We talked about Dunn, and here he's been moved to Milwaukee. So we've seen the Tampa Bay Rays deals. We've seen the Milwaukee deals. Some small moves here and there that the Phillies are making this offseason.
It makes sense because, to keep him as last year's Rule 5 player, he would have had to have been added to the 40-man roster. They clearly didn't want to do that. Maybe they didn't see the need for that utility type of player. I don't know, whatever it was. But they get the Brewers 13th and 14th overall prospects. Is that exciting? As Tyler said, these aren't real people. We won't remember any of them. It's probably a pretty irrelevant move. I mean, your Shane Victorinos and your Jason Worths of the world don't happen very often. And those were guys, I believe, coming off of injury concerns, at least with Worth. I'm not sure about Victorino, that you were able to get them in Rule 5 drafts. So, those are your lottery hits. These guys we'll probably never talk about again, but it's all about how you shift and maneuver, 40-man rosters and this and that. So they get 2 guys that they can, keep in the minors, I think, for a little bit, at least for a year or 2. And they are at 38 men, so they have 2 open spots for the 40-man roster, approaching that Rule 5 draft, which is December 6th, the last day of the winter meeting. So, just a shuffle of the roster, basically.
Well, as we're talking about
Tyler
age,
doesn't even think they're real.
They are real. As we're talking about age,
he's a Rule 5 truther. He doesn't even think 75% of these guys are real people.
26-year-old Dunn was in this move traded for 2 much younger prospects.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned where they're ranked actually more at 21 years old is the number 15 prospect in the Brewers pipeline, and 20-year-old Mendez, number 27 in the Brewers pipeline, but younger, and it's small pieces. It's chess, not checkers. There's small little moves being made that are for a much, much bigger reason. So it's interesting as we hear they are real people, guys.
If I wanted to go
20 and 21 years old,
watch them in Lehigh Valley, maybe I could hit up the Game Time app to get my tickets, Renee. And you can too. Use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Maybe the Iron Pigs are involved, or maybe you want to get over to Lakewood. I'm sure Game Time's got you. Because they are your hub for buying tickets. It should not be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater shows near you with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over tickets and get hyped for the fun you're going to have. Get images of your seats before you buy so you know exactly what you're getting into. It's a great app. I've used it twice now. So snag the tickets without the stress of Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Just create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Well, I love the conversation in the chat that you guys are having. Your thoughts on Yamamoto, on Tyler Zuli's mom and dad, on Middleton. We're just all over the place there. But something else I know I wanted to share before we move along. Other news about Johan Rojas.
Yeah.
According to Dave Dombrowski, this just came out earlier this morning. Dave Dombrowski said a couple of times that the Phillies will not anoint Johan Rojas as their everyday center fielder in 2024. We, of course, on the show have been speculating that Rojas will move down back into AAA, have a chance to work on his at-bats, refine his game in the minors, and then still always have potential. So according to these reports, Dave Dombrowski is saying Yoro will have to earn his job again next spring, and that's pretty on brand and pretty on par with what we thought, because we definitely saw him struggle down the stretch, especially him as well as Orion Kirkring, two young, growing, budding talents. So for Yoro specifically, the hopes are he can refine his game in the minors, and we'll see what happens in 2024.
Yeah, he could potentially be a trade piece as well, depending on how the outfield market shapes out here. You do. I see the chat talking a little bit about the right-handed hitter. I do think that's a real thing. They need a right-handed bat. Rojas just isn't ready yet. So, you do have some flexibility in terms of Marsh can play center as part of the platoon. If you get a better left fielder than Marsh, you might feel comfortable just being your everyday center fielder with PHLY as, the backup depth piece there. You can play Marsh in left if maybe you find like a more veteran center field type to platoon with PHLY a little bit. So you have flexibility, but I do think the right-handed bat thing is real, and they're going to be looking for that. And maybe it's somebody through the trade market. The outfield free agent market isn't great by any means. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that outfield position. I know a guy that Tyler, I would say hates, and he is right-handed. He's an outfielder, another one of these 29-year-olds with 1 year of club control.
Hate's a strong word, Jamie.
Sports hate. You don't hate him personally.
I don't know the guy.
I think it might be more intense than hate. Manuel Margot
it's not good.
was formerly I believe with the Padres system and believed to be, like the next Andrew Jones of the Padres, a great defender, power, all of that. Now he's been with the Rays, and they kind of have, some outfield depth to get rid of. Manuel Margot, Tyler Zuli is on the trade market. Would you?
No. No, because here's the thing. The talk about Manuel Margot for a long time was there should be pop, and it really never developed. Like, I don't have an issue with the offensive numbers for a guy that you may be thinking about platooning. 264, 310, 376 split is okay enough for a guy that you might platoon. But the big conversation about Manuel Margot is his defensive ratings, and for quite some time he was a plus defender, if not better. But over the last couple of seasons, it's starting to decline as he gets a little bit older. He had a negative defensive WAR in 2023 for the first time in his career, and just amongst outfielders alone, he ranked 269th in baseball. Excuse me, in Major League Baseball, he ranked 269th this season with a -3 defensive run saved. I mean, when you talk about, you get into the negatives, like to put it into perspective, Kyle Schwarber was dead last at -21. Now, he's not that bad, clearly, but to be just the average defender, like let's take Nick Castellanos, for example, he was a 0, I believe. So you're adding another negative defender to the mix who used to be elite and still has that like sprinkles in elite defense from time to time, but he's not that guy anymore.
Yeah. Well, I know, Tyler. Tyler, you've got it. You've hit it on the head, I believe. But I know also in the chat, somebody asked about Justin Crawford. I want to just hit on that really quickly before we move along.
Eugene Krabs once said Margot Robbie graphic. He is the better Robbie or Margot.
Yes. So Dave was asking about the word on Crawford and how many years he's away and if he's legit.
And
for the Phillies player development, Preston Mattingly, he said that Crawford has been showing exit velocities that show he has it. He's got the potential, but it just hasn't been consistent enough. And so there's just some tweaks that are needed. So they didn't give a timeline, and
he's 2 years away at earliest.
Yeah, but he's at least making improvements and showing potential. It's just a matter of having him doing it consistently.
He just became their number 2 prospect. I mean, he's a really exciting potential center fielder in 2 years, probably. Still pretty young, but he's gotten rave reviews. As you said, increased his exit velocity. He started hitting to the gaps a little bit more this year. He's fast as hell. He's potentially a great center fielder. Probably could play the corner outfield if you need him to. He's that rangy. He's just an overall really exciting prospect. But, yeah, he's probably at earliest 2 years away. But he's a kid we should take a road trip to go see this year.
Yeah.
I know that's something we want to do down the line, either go up to Lehigh or Jersey or wherever and take a trip to see some of these kids, because Crawford is damn exciting.
Yeah, good question, Dave. We're always open to the questions in the chat. Some of them more open to them than others. I know we've got our guest, Dave Shaw, ready to join us on the show. Just to run through some other quick notes before we bring him in from UK Phillies. So also we talked about Rhys Hoskins and the Chicago Cubs, and one of the Cubs fans were even in yesterday asking about Rhys.
Yeah,
and the
CHGO.
Cubs, according to Morosi, the Cubs do have serious interest, and it doesn't necessarily mean a one-year deal. They're trying to avoid that. So potentially we might be seeing Rhys Hoskins in a Cubs uniform.
Yeah, they said because Bellinger, they kind of wish they hadn't done the 1 year deal and invested maybe in a 2 or 3 year deal. He said that could be something that, makes them look at Rhys Hoskins as a multi-year deal. So it's not necessarily a short-term thing. And if Rhys went to Wrigley, that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously, as we know, the Padres continuing to have financial issues, so it looks like they're going to have to trade Soto. And as Jamie says, sad. I was queuing you up to say, but you didn't. It's okay. It's fine. I thought we were on the same page here, but apparently not. And then, as we expected, and by no surprise, Aaron Nola and everybody else, all 7 guys that received qualifying offers, did reject them. Big surprise there.
Duh.
So with that, we do have news that the Phillies will be playing in London. That's right.
Going?
Sure. You paying?
No.
The Major League Baseball World Tour is back in London in 2024, and what perfect timing to have somebody on today than now. It's from UK Phillies. Welcome in, Dave. Nice to have you here, buddy. How are you?
Thank you for having me on, guys. I'm great. I'm already stoked. I'm really excited for next June. And just hearing you guys talking on about Yamamoto possibly being here and seeing him in London. Soto, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, it is crazy to think you can be getting a Yamamoto sighting in a Phillies uniform in London. So I'm curious your thoughts. I know I saw you did a great vlog about the London series, giving people some insight on what to expect and things like that. Phillies versus Mets in June. What was your initial reaction when you heard that the Phillies are going to be playing right in your backyard?
Still, even now, and even being there at the weekends, it hasn't quite sunk in yet. The Phillies are coming to town. Straight away, excitement. Unbelievable. This is actually going to be happening. Myself and lots of other Phillies fans around the UK and Europe have been non-stop chatting about it ever since. So many events being planned, especially at Passyunk Avenue. And it's against the Mets, the rivalry is going to be incredible. They're going to come over in their numbers. So are the Philly fans who always travel well. It's going to be surreal. It's going to be, I'm trying to take it in now and just, digest everything. But it's been, social media's been a whirlwind, messages coming through. I've been trying to give so much advice on where to stay, travel, tickets. And it's my turn to host you guys. You guys, every time I've been over in Philly, have been incredible towards me. So I can't wait to you guys come into our John and then my turn to host. I can't wait.
Dave, for those that don't know you, I know you've been coming over for a couple years now to games and whatnot, but why don't you tell people your Philly sicko origin story? How did you become one of us on the other side of the pond?
So 2012, when it all started for me and all started to go downhill for the Phils, but I was just traveling in the States and I was in Philadelphia. I loved the city straight off the bat, loved it. First time in Philly, real sports city. Oh, the passion, you could feel it as soon as you got there. I got invited to a game. I said, yeah, why not? Big sports fan. Didn't know what to expect, didn't have a clue. The moment I got off the Scepter into the complex, unreal. Nothing like that back home whatsoever. Just walking around, tailgating, nothing I've experienced before. I was hooked straight away. Got into the ballpark, walked around, loved it. Just loved everything about it. Sat down, watched the game, didn't have a clue what was going on. Had a lovely woman explain the rules to me as it was happening. It was Chase Utley's first game back from injury of the season against the Pirates. First debut, he hit a home run. Everybody goes crazy. The ball lands literally 50 meters away from me. Couldn't believe it, and I'm like, yeah, this is a bit of me right here.
The sickest of all of us, since 2012 was your introductory year, and you stuck with it. Man, that was a dark decade. Right. You're really sick.
Yeah, I had players like for me, my fandom, Ben Revere was my, my player growing up with, and Aaron Altair, Nick Williams, Don Brown. But yeah, it makes these times now even sweeter. Going through the last 10 years, and now these 2 postseason runs we had, and being there for both the NLDS series last year and this year, just so special, and the experience and atmosphere was just unbelievable.
Well, I have to ask, Dave, it's one thing to be a fan. It's another thing to then put together UK Phillies, which you've done a tremendous job around of expanding the fans, the whole community vibe around the Phillies to take it over the pond, to take it international. What made you decide to take things from being just a fan to having UK Phillies and taking that next step of being so immersed and involved in the Phillies community in such a powerful way?
In 2017, when things were low, I thought there has to be other fans in the UK that I can vent to at the time, and get things off my chest, because it was just getting to a point of, damn, this sucks, man. There's got to be other fans out there in the UK to share this with, and there really was. I set up the Facebook group, the Twitter and the Insta, and a lot of fans in the UK reached out, and it was amazing. And then I thought, wow, this is really cool. And it was an opportunity to meet other fans from other teams and branch out, because our aim as well over here is to grow the sport here, and to, London Series has really helped. But for us, we want to bring the profile up, like the NFL has done so well in the last 10, 15 years. The NBA, NHL, it's got a great presence in the UK, and baseball is now starting that journey really well. And it's for me, it's about growing the game as well, getting as many new fans as possible now. It's been awesome last 2 seasons with the Phils doing well, people reaching out going, I'm new to baseball, I've seen your Twitter account, the enthusiasm, which is great. Getting people on board that way. And of course, now the Phils are coming to London, the interest has been off the scale. So, it was just originally to reach out to other UK fans and vent about the tough times. And now it's just ballooned and turned into this incredible account, which is just such a pleasure to run. And it's so much fun.
Yeah. So, Dave, what's your last one from me? What's your favorite Philadelphia food treat when you come over here? And for us heading over to London, what would you recommend is a can't miss item that we should hit up? Obviously, we know Passion Gav is a really cool Philly sports bar over there. But what's the one thing we shouldn't miss if we are making the trip over?
So when I was over there just gone, I stayed in the Fishtown area and really enjoyed it. And there were some great diners out there, great cheesesteaks, of course, on brand. When you guys come over here, you've got to try it. Fish and chips is the obvious answer, but you've got to have a full English breakfast and a classic roast dinner. It's got to be done, and you won't be disappointed.
Love it.
I love that. And it sounds like we're clearly going to have our show in London with you, because first of all, I'm hungry now. The thought of all this food's got me very hungry. It is lunchtime, but also, it's just great to hear all the excitement that's happening in London just as well. I know around here you go, if you're not at Citizens Bank Park, if you go to a local bar or whatever it may be, there's always crowds of Phillies fans. And I love that it's the same thing for you guys there as well. So as we wrap up, because we really enjoy having you on, and we're going to definitely have to have you on again.
Yeah, next time you're in town,
let people
we'll
know,
have to get you in here.
Yeah, when you're in town again, we'll have to make that happen to get you here in studio with us too. But let people know a little bit about where they can follow, and also what's next for UK Phillies that they can look forward to with your content that you're putting out.
So it's UK Phillies across the board on X, Insta, YouTube, Facebook. There's a lot coming up. I've got a meeting with MLB Europe, a Zoom meeting on Friday to discuss plans about events, tickets for London series. Passyunk is going to be the place to be if you are coming over to London. I'm hoping to be there in April for the opening series against the Braves, hopefully not against Arizona. And just, there's a lot of content to come. Plans will be revealed soon. More vlogs, more build-up vlogs to the London series as well. And we're going to, in the new year, we're going to really start to ramp it up and bring a proper countdown to the London series.
Awesome. Thank you again so much, Dave, for your time. We love the work that you do. We're excited for more to come in the future in terms of collaborating, but also to continue to watch what you're doing with UK Phillies. So thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, see you, Dave.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, buddy. All right. Well, Dave Shaw, who does it, and I always feel bad because I like doing a nice British accent, but then I feel a little bit rude because I'm like, is this, like, I don't know. But Dave Shaw of UK Phillies does a tremendous job. I came across his vlog that he just posted recently. I've seen all of his work, but most recently he was posting about the London series because June will be here before we know it, guys. I know we're preparing for the holidays, but June will be here.
Have you done
very
London before?
quickly. I have not actually.
Head.
I know.
You got to make a trip.
List. It's on my list. My passport's ready. I'm ready to go to London, and so I'm looking forward because it's Major League Baseball's back overseas internationally. Of course, we've seen
home of Chase
St.
Utley.
Louis and Chicago. But yes, exactly. Headed back, and those tickets are going to be on pre-sale actually pretty soon that people will be able to buy those. Yeah. So stay tuned for more around the London series as tickets start to drop later in November. And you have a chance to attend the game on either Saturday, June 8th or Sunday, June 9th. Because what a great holiday gift that would be to be able to buy some tickets for a loved one that you're headed to London to watch the Phillies beat up on the Mets. But you know what else could be a great holiday plan? Maybe not as much of a gift. It's to eat right. And you can do that with Hero Bread. Now, over at Hero Bread, as you're gearing up for the holiday season, you don't have to worry about eating, and putting on that 20 pounds of holiday weight. No. You can eat healthy, nutritious options over at Hero Bread. And with Hero Bread, they have taken time to put together rolls, sliced bread, wraps, tortillas, any sort of bread products that allow, regardless of your allergy or dietary restrictions, you to have something delicious to eat that's healthy for you. So over at Hero Bread, you can check them out at hero.co. The link is on the bottom of your screen. And you can use the code PHLY, gets you 10% off of your purchase. They have a lot of different varieties of bread. I've actually had a chance to try them out myself. Highly recommend them. And with Hero Bread, you have a chance to now be able to purchase bread that is fewer calories than the leading national brand, high fiber, low carbs, ultra low net carbs, I should say, and 0 grams sugar per slice. So again, hero.co, use that code PHLY, get 10% off of your purchase, and make sure you're eating right, eating delicious this holiday season. All right, so why am I getting for my accent, Eugene? I wouldn't get canceled. We should be hosts of a cooking show, Dave. That's a great idea. And I will say for Thanksgiving, Jamie and I will be having some fun here in the studio.
Yeah, I got to stop at the grocery store on the way home today. I'm going to make balsamic bacon Brussels sprout tray. And I know you're doing some ham for our little, I guess, workplace Friendsgiving casual.
We are having a Friendsgiving here at PHLY Sports. I hope you guys are having some Friendsgivings outside of your usual Thanksgiving plans. It is interesting to hear what different people around the office are planning to bring because not everybody's a cook. Not everybody's comfortable in the kitchen.
I've noticed that most people have contributed. I'm not a cook. You don't want me near a kitchen. I will buy something.
Our entire PHLY office, for the most part, because it's all men.
Hey, that's sexist.
It is all men. It's facts, though.
Cooking and cleaning. All right? And I'm comfortable saying it.
It's all men that are the ones saying, I don't cook. Those are facts. You don't see me
I love
saying
to
it.
cook.
You don't
Coach
see Jules
loves
or
to
Bree
cook.
saying it.
I think
Coach is like the only one.
We might be the only two that
yeah,
said
you and Coach are it. Everybody else was like, I can't cook. I'm just gonna
Coach is making a seafood bisque and some seafood poppers. Looking forward to those.
introduce you to seasoning. Yeah, listen, Thanksgiving. We're gonna talk about it on our show. Don't worry, this is not the Thanksgiving edition. We will have one of those.
Oh,
Always
Lynch.
makes me cringe
I can
because
cook.
there are some people, whether it's like raisins in your potato salad or green bean casserole.
I
or
love a
whatever.
green bean casserole. Not gonna lie.
It is never going to be seen at my house for Thanksgiving because you're going to get plenty of other seasoned, delicious food. So,
Philadelphia Drum and Percussion says, Jamie, I see you every
wow.
morning at drop off. Just haven't had the chance to corner you and talk sports yet. That's funny. So
I love that.
Please say hello next time you see me.
Yeah.
Wrangling the girls. Sometimes they're a little feral. Sometimes, if I don't let one out of the car first and the other one gets upset, and it's just like, all right, just get into school and get away from me. You're not my problem for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. So we will have more. Maybe we'll give you guys, Martian's asking for a live stream of Friendsgiving. Maybe we'll give you some behind the scenes sneak peeks because, listen, we offered for everybody to bring whatever they wanted to bring. I offered to bring a nice glazed ham, and then we got some other suggestions that were not as great, but we've got food, guys. We've got food, apparently. So if you see us starving tomorrow, it'll be, you know why.
John says, my wife is away, so I will be preparing Le Helper de Hamburger. By the way, Hamburger Helper slaps.
It's,
right. Maybe it's the nostalgicness in me.
De hamburger.
Yeah. But they are good.
It is. It's always delicious to have some good. I actually have had Hamburger Helper in a very long time.
I haven't had it since probably the mid-90s.
Martian Lids. Jamie, I can cook. Also, Jamie, I love a green bean casserole.
What's wrong with green bean casserole? Green bean might be my favorite vegetable.
Got to be disgusting.
I love
depending on what
beans.
I don't even eat mac and cheese, but depending on what you're putting in your mac and cheese, not good. There's some concerns.
What's wrong with green beans? They don't deserve this.
A casserole? I love green beans, not in a casserole.
Green bean casserole is disgusting.
Disgusting.
You guys
it's such
are
like
monsters.
But hold on,
tiny...
Renee, you say you don't like mac and cheese, and that's like a staple. It's like a staple Thanksgiving food.
Yeah. Well, actually, for us,
Target
it's
two.
not. It's never mac and cheese has never been a Thanksgiving staple for us.
What's happening at your dinners? So I don't like cheese.
You have mashed potatoes and stuffing. Like, you don't need the mac and
It's
cheese.
all about carbs and starch.
I
That's
know.
what
There's already
Thanksgiving
enough of those.
is.
Give me the cranberry right out of the can.
Okay, so what is your
Football and starch.
what's some of your sides then? What's like
we
your-
do a soup course, we do a salad, and then the sides are usually
Salad at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you got to grease the tracks a little bit for
You
the next
don't.
day. You know what I
You
mean?
don't,
You know what I
actually.
mean? You need a little assistance the following day.
My stomach's gurgling.
Mashed potatoes, stuffing, cranberry. There's usually some kind of green bean or Brussels sprout dish. A lot of breads, like usually 4 or 5 different varieties of breads. And then usually yams of some sort. Not the candied yams. I'm not a candied yamsman. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't believe I just don't get mac and cheese at Thanksgiving. I'll be honest with you. It's not needed. There's so many days where mac and cheese is needed. That is not one of the days you need mac and cheese.
Well, I don't eat mac and cheese any day, but over at my
that's
Thanksgiving,
crazy.
I got beans, potatoes,
don't.
tomatoes. Like, I actually had to look up the lyrics. I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lambs, rams, hogs, malls, you name it. Chicken, turkeys, rabbit.
No, we didn't eat lunch before getting on air today, and now I'm getting hungry.
I'm so hungry. My stomach is gurgling. If I put the mic to my stomach, you probably could hear it gurgling.
And then we do the manna pies. Let's wait before we move on.
Oh, you're not done.
What's your go-to pie?
Wait,
on
I didn't even get my
Thanksgiving?
sides yet.
Oh, you didn't give your
Let me
sides
get my
yet. Well,
menu.
somebody mentioned pie, and now I'm thinking
love
about pie.
Oh my gosh.
Pie's
oh my
better
gosh.
than cake.
I love Thanksgiving because
Hot
every
take.
plate you go and you get what? I just
Pie
realized
is
what you just
definitely
said.
better than
Pie's
cake.
better than cake.
Oh,
Yes.
no. Pie is better than cake this time of year.
Nope, pie's better
but
than cake
if I had
all
to
the
choose,
time.
if I had to choose one
A
to eat
warm
every day,
pie with cold
I
ice
actually
cream on
have
top?
eaten cake
Oh,
every day.
madone.
I just ate cupcakes every day for the last 2 weeks.
No.
I was on a cupcake diet.
Pie is better than cake.
And I had a cupcake every single day for the last 2
All right,
weeks. And I
what
would
are your
never do that
sides?
with pie. Okay, so my first of
I'm
all,
going to sidetrack you and down
turkey,
cake land.
ham, chicken.
Oh, you guys
main
run
meals.
the gamut.
Oh
of
my
the different
gosh, it's a
meats.
huge spread. Well, you just have one meat.
Yeah, we're just turkey. Yeah.
I gotta show you guys how it's done.
No.
Okay, and then your side.
This
And
is a
honestly,
day for
sometimes
turkey.
you actually have other meats in there as well. And then outside of that, you have cabbage, greens, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, candy yams.
I do love greens.
You have a little. Oh,
whether collard or
good collard greens,
like,
but you got to be mindful what's in it. Not everybody eats pork, so you have to have options.
And the
baked
pork's
beans,
in there, though. What up?
Cranberry sauce.
Baked beans on Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Wow.
You have to have options. Cooked apples.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Delicious.
That sounds real
delicious.
good.
And then every time you go back and make a plate, you now can have something different.
Yeah.
And then for your pies, you have to have the spread, but it's got to be apple and pumpkin. Sweet potato pie is overrated in my opinion,
think
and
so
I like
too.
sweet potatoes.
I agree.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. But other than that, like I don't want a pecan pie or anything like that. I just like my simple apple and pumpkin.
I understand the love for
I'm right
pecan.
there.
It's pretty damn
That's it.
good. But like, if I could choose one, it's a hot blueberry or apple pie with some vanilla ice cream on top. When it melts, woo.
I do like a pie with some ice cream though. Oh, with like a
Yeah.
nice scoop right on
All right,
top. So you
we're gonna
take
have
the
to go get
spoon and
lunch,
you get
'cause
all
this is
that
killing
together.
me.
Oh man,
This
yeah.
is killing
In
me.
the chat, fried turkey, bombed out. Fried turkey is good. I actually usually
Fried turkey's great,
I'm
yeah.
usually on the turkey and ham. Like to go in there into the turkey and
I have another
bring
take.
out the giblet
I
and
have another
everything like
take.
that.
I think ham is slightly overrated. I eat it. I never yearn for ham.
Maybe you're having ham wrong. Clearly, you're eating it
No,
wrong.
we get the honey baked
There's
hams.
so many. There's so many different types of ham.
Honey baked hams are
There's
good.
glazed. There's honey baked. There's like basic ham. You
we
can have
get the right
smoked
ham. I
ham.
just think I think it's overrated, and I think Canadian bacon borders on gross. The only way it's acceptable is in a McMuffin, not your traditional English breakfast. I think it's a little gross.
Wow.
I just think there's so many better meats
Deviled
than ham. Like, what do we do?
eggs?
Oh, deviled eggs.
Oh,
Yeah.
with a little bit
baby.
of bacon drizzled on top and
my,
some.
my mom makes a asparagus.
Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry.
appetizer wrapped in prosciutto.
We're not
with,
doing.
all
We're
right,
not
we gotta
doing. We're not doing. Guess that ballpark. I'm out of here. I need to go eat some food.
Cherry pie MBD. What up? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so hungry.
All right, we gotta eat. So let's get to Tyler Glass now because I know
Yeah.
Tyler's passionate about it, and then we
If
got
you guys had to
we gotta
choose
play
who's-
guess that
No!
ballpark, and
If you
we're
guys had to
closing
choose
your laptop
whose
today.
Thanksgiving you're going to, is it Jamie's or is it my Thanksgiving that you're attending? Drop that in the chat. Let us know.
Smoked tandoori chicken at Thanksgiving. That sounds.
Have you ever
awesome.
had turducken?
I
turducken?
have not officially had it. But
Underrated, pretty good, pretty odd, but very good.
All right, Martian Lynch. I know you want me to chill out with the takes. I'm not a big duck guy. My wife loves duck.
I don't like a turducken. I don't like it by itself.
I think it's fine.
It
It's
just
a little
tastes
too
like
gamey
chicken.
for me.
You just have to have all the options so you need to have a plate of, I like mixing my food so you can now easily just go from thing to thing.
So you're a
Oh,
big
so
mix-
good. I'm
you
a
just
big mixer.
Stir it up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, Dave, that you're saying this episode should be submitted for an Emmy.
I'm so
That's
hungry
what you're
right
going
now.
for. I am literally
I-
salivating. I
Yeah.
could bite
We're gonna
my
have to
own
find some
hand.
food ASAP.
I didn't eat a big breakfast either, actually, so I legitimately am hungry. All right.
I had a weird
Let's
breakfast.
play Guess That Ballpark. Brrr. So, score updates. Jamie has one.
Excuse me.
I'm just reading the
Thought
scores.
we
I'm not
established
gloating.
yesterday. There's no gloating.
I'm not
involved with
gloating. I'm
cheating.
simply stating the facts. I do have 2 wins. Jamie has 1 win.
Yeah. Let's close that laptop then, Renee.
Yeah, I think I'm making it a rule from here on out.
You
when
can't
we play
have
this
rules
game.
in, what is this, the tush push? You can't change the rules later in the
Gotta
game.
go. They gotta go.
You can work with me. Do you want to consult?
I have my guess. I don't feel great about it, but it's the gut instinct, so I'm going to run with it.
City Field.
I am going to say San Fran. What is that, Oracle Park now? I forget the name.
I think it's Oracle, but
Yeah, I think it's-
San Fran.
Oh,
is,
you're Googling?
No, I'm just Googling the name. I think it's Oracle Park, right? I don't know. They changed so much. All these sponsors. MetLife's? No, wait, that's the wrong
What?
Giants. Baseball Giants.
So yeah, I've heard of MetLife.
Yeah, I was like,
It
wait a
does
second.
look the
Yeah,
same
it's
as
Oracle.
yesterday, Martian. My gosh.
Well, yeah. I'm going to go with final answer.
Wow, you're doing it that fast?
Yeah. I'm just going to go with the gut.
San Fran?
I'm actually just looking at names. I'm not looking at pictures specifically because I need a refresher.
Eugene Krabs has a decent guess, I think, there.
Pecan pie.
Eugene Krabs has been pretty spot on so far.
Yeah, he
So
might be
should
the best
I go
of
with
this
Eugene
game.
Krabs?
No, you have to go with
not what I'm
yourself, and
saying.
you have to close your laptop.
That's not correct though. At this time, I don't think.
I think San Fran's more rounded.
Okay, so
I think I
Eugene
hate my
Krabs is
answer
saying
now.
Kansas City. MBDBDBS saying that ballpark, there should be a shame. Martian saying this does look the same as yesterday. I agree. Oh, brisket tacos. Oh my gosh, John.
I didn't know. Is that a new sponsor? Brisket
That
Tacos
sounds
Park?
amazing. Cabbage does not suck,
Ooh, that
Dave.
Mexican place right across the street
egg
might be
rolls.
getting hit up
my
today.
gosh.
Tacos.
All right, so John is saying City, and actually I was going with that too as my initial one because I thought
San Fran has
Yankee
McCovey Co's,
Stadium
I know.
was City.
No,
I don't
that's
think I'm going to lock that in
Shitty
because
Field is the Mets.
I feel decent about that.
Man, I'm sticking with it. I don't
Wait,
like my
has
answer.
the correct answer been said?
No.
Oh, crap. All right.
All right, so nobody has said.
Let's keep this guessing going. We are a little over time here and a little hungry
you better
here.
get to your Google Images quick here, Renee. Running out of time.
I'm
We're going to
not-
have to put a
I'm-
timer on Renee as well as closing our laptop.
Okay.
Solderton High School. Jamie
Is
Moyer's
it?
the stadium that Jamie Moyer built. All right.
Saturday in Penridge
We're
is
doing a
hilarious.
15-second
Wait,
countdown
why are we
internally
changing the
for Renee.
rules just because?
Because your Googling is too slow.
Is it?
14.
Wait, did you have an
13.
answer?
I already said San Fran.
But
I
it's
locked it in.
wrong.
Who said that?
Tyler, he said the
No.
right answer hasn't been said.
No, San
asked
Fran
me
hasn't been said in
you
the
asked me
chat.
if the chat was.
Yeah.
You asked me about the
Oh,
chat.
crap.
still
My
alive,
answer was
baby.
in the chat.
12 seconds.
What? Oh my God, I feel like I'm back in
10.
school again. No!
Oh, I think that Anish has actually a decent guess there.
Progressive
9.
field. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go with.
6.
I'm going to go with.
5.
Oh, it actually does kind of look like. No, but Kansas City was already
4.
said. No, stop.
3.
I'm going to go
2,
with.
1.
No.
Give us an
wait,
answer.
I'm not
Final
ready. Wait,
answer,
I'm handing it in.
Renee.
I'm handing it in.
Give
Spit
us
it
an
out.
answer.
Dodger Stadium.
No one was right today.
Chase
Oh,
Field.
Jeez.
Man,
See, if you had only given me a chance.
Oh yeah. The 3 minutes wasn't enough. Nobody's good at this. You should feel okay about failure. I've embraced it.
Be okay about failure. What is this,
Yes.
participation trophy?
I don't even think the designers of these stadiums could pick out their own stadiums.
That doesn't mean I have to fail. Because
Well,
everybody else settling for failure. I don't have to.
doesn't mean you have to cheat either.
I'm not cheating. I'm there were no rules.
Consulting my
It's giving-
resources.
you know
I
what?
like-
I'm feeling
that's
a
good
little
spin
triggered.
zone, by
Feeling
the-
like this is the tush push all over again. NFL.
So what do you call that list of stadiums in front of you?
I have a very reasonable list of stadiums.
Yeah. See, hold on. That's cheating. If you nominally had stadium
Yeah.
names and you're like, okay,
It is
well,
all
what's
the
the stupid
stadium
sponsor of the
names.
week?
And
Yeah,
it's
the
very
pictures are
it's very
nonsense.
small pictures. You can't really see it. If you look here according to my I'm rolling
We
my
all
eyes.
fail. We're gonna fail together. It's fine.
Zoom in on me as I roll my eyes, please. One more for the road.
Yeah.
So it's not cheating. There's no rules. This is not. You can't come up just because I'm the Eagles running the tush push well doesn't mean you can come around, be salty, and change the rules, guys. Figure it out as a way to get a win. But either way, we all lost today. We're all losers. Everybody happy? We all got the participation trophy. Good job, everybody.
You're the
You
only
showed
one that's
up.
sugar about it.
You all showed up today. You tried your hardest, and even though you failed, you're
go
an
get
A
some
in my book.
Let's go get some
You all
tacos.
get stars for trying.
Should we get some show tacos?
That's where we are now. I'm literally starving.
Show tacos.
All right, guys.
By the way, I have another take.
Oh, no.
There should be more breakfast tacos in the northeast of this country. I think that's
there are
one we can
breakfast
all
tacos
agree.
places.
You have to kind of like search for them. They should be more readily available.
Like you should be able to go to your local Wawa and get a breakfast taco.
I don't know if I want.
where do you want
but
them
why not?
available?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Like should
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts have them? They got croissants and
let's-
bagels. Should they have tacos?
I just think more places should have them. Breakfast tacos are amazing.
According
That's
to
all.
sources, I've now been suspended for 10 shows that I've been fined $2,500 for cheating. Yep. And I'm also going to put out a restraining order because you guys are coming at me and there were no rules against cheating. All right, guys. Thank you for supporting us, rocking with us, making us all hungry as well, and having fun with us, most
Very
importantly. Wow, I'm getting roasted in the chat in a great way, though. Not permitted on the sidelines for the next 3 weeks.
Built like a breakfast tie. I don't even know what that means, Martian Lynch. Us Lynches have to stick together.
It just actually makes me giggle at the
I'm so
fact the
hungry.
comments that people make towards me versus you versus Tyler. It's very consistent.
How could you betray a fellow Lynch like that and call me a breakfast taco?
Don't be mean to my co-host like that.
I want a taco so bad. Right now.
All right, let's go get some food, guys. For everybody here, make sure you're following, subscribing, staying up to date. We've got more coming your way tomorrow, and we will talk.
What time tomorrow? 11:30 again? 12:30?
12:30.
12:30 tomorrow.
12:30 Thursday. We will be live for more great conversations. You never know what we're going to talk about. You never know who's going to pop up on the show. You never know what
A lot of
hot
food takes today.
And usually food takes are going to be here. So for Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, Renee Watson, and all of our gurgling stomachs, thanks for tuning in to PHLY Phillies podcast. For Dave Shaw, thanks for joining us from UK Phillies. Make sure you're giving him a follow. And we'll be back with more Guess That Ballpark and other hot stove news tomorrow. See you guys.
We all silly like the mayor.